Like, I'm so over this shit. And y'all gotta know, I am the nicest, the most calm, just cool ass woman. Like, I don't be fucking with nobody. I don't do nothing to nobody.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Rua, and today I just wanted to make a different kind of video. Honestly, this is not that different. If you know me, you know. If you're an actual like OG, before the nails, before everything else, I used to be like, I'm looking whitewashed right now. This is giving me whitewash vibes. Anyway, I used to be like a little bit more opinionated on my channel, and when something was like a pressing issue, like when the whole dope thing happened with the discrimination, and I felt like I should use my small platform and my voice to talk about it, I did talk about it. If it's something like pressing, I feel like I should say something because my voice matters. So if you hate opinions and you hate people who have them, and you read the title and you feel like you're gonna disagree, you might just want to click out. But you can always sound off in the comments and let me know how you feel. I don't feel like much people are gonna watch this. I'm not trying to speak bad for this video, but I'm just giving my opinionated opinion. All right, so you guys, if you haven't been living under a rock, you would know what happened with Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez, and I just wanted to talk about the situation almost objectively in a way, but still subjectively, because I'm giving my own input based on my personal experiences as not only a black woman or a person of color, but a darker skinned black woman. It's a mess. Over here. It's a mess. That's all I'm gonna try to say. So one of the issues I find, by the way, this is gonna be like a ranting video, and I didn't really plan a script or anything like traditional like professional drama channels or people who do commentary. So I'm just speaking off of the top of my head, and I hope that my editing skills are a little bit better than my speaking skills. But one of the issues I saw, like if you didn't watch the video, I didn't watch it in its entirety, but I saw different clips and excerpts from different channels that I've watched.
This out the backseat of the car started shooting me. You shot me!
And I got the gist of it. First of all, can we just start a culture where we believe the victims? Oh my god. It is very rare that victims of domestic violence or victims of abuse situations are actually lying. I don't know if I have to blur those out, but are actually lying about the situation. Women are just so much less likely to be believed. Again, let's look up the statistics for the times domestic violence cases are actually true when women say that they are. Alright, so I'm on this website, oursilence.org, and I don't really know, this is like one of the first websites that popped up on Google when I looked up statistics of violence or abuse victims who are actually right, and they're debunking myths. One of the myths says a lot of victims lie about being, you know, that word, or give false reports. The fact says only 2 to 8% of victims falsely reported, the same percentage as for other felonies. Another myth, a person cannot be assaulted by their partner or spouse, and then the fact is nearly 1 in 10 women have experienced by an intimate partner or partner in their lifetime. So these are just some statistics relating to assault in general. This is not directly about domestic violence, but I just wanted to put it in perspective for you if you don't understand where I'm coming from. Now, with the case of Megan Thee Stallion, when she did say these things and accused Tory Lanez of literally taking out an assault weapon and shooting her foot because they had a verbal disagreement. I don't know if it was physical or verbal. She didn't really go into detail with what happened in the car. She just said that her and a couple of other people, I think there were 4 or 5 people in the car, had a verbal altercation, and it got very, I guess, heated. And understandably, if you're in a small space and you're arguing with someone, that could happen. She did debunk the ideology that it had something to do with Kylie Jenner, which she said that the incident did take place when she was closer to her residence. So again, just throwing some random facts from what I've seen from her lives and videos. If you actually want to watch it, I will try to find some links or put them in the description I mean, you can honestly just search up Megan Thee Stallion live, and a lot of full-length videos will pop up. So one of the issues I had with this particularly is when Megan first said that, or first accused him, or there was speculation that he did in fact commit that crime. It is a crime, literally. It's a felony, I'm pretty sure, because I don't know if he had legal permission to be carrying around that assault weapon in his car, but I'm pretty sure he did it. He didn't. He did not. He didn't. I'm sorry to say it. He didn't. I'm pretty sure he didn't. First of all, I would like to commend Megan Thee Stallion for having so much resolve, and she just proves herself again to be a sophisticated individual, someone with a lot of intelligence, honestly above average, because I feel like even when I'm in a verbal altercation with someone and they say something to hurt my feelings, I will snap, and I would like say something that can, you know, when I do that, I would say something that, you know, kind of like has the same effect on them, or antagonizes them in the same way that they have antagonized me. For her to not only, wow, have resolve in front of a like police officer, which she claimed was being very verbally almost insulting or just like antagonizing to her, not only that resolve in that sense, and then having the ability to like basically de-escalate the situation while physically bleeding is amazing to me. The fact that you have to commend a black woman for, again, having resolve in a really unfair and like an unjust society is crazy, but it seems to keep happening over and over again, and people just can't grasp that history tends to repeat itself. Now, my issue with the whole situation is when Megan did talk about it the first time, or when there was speculation that she claimed that he did in fact shoot her in the foot, no one believed her. In fact, people were poking fun of the whole situation online and making it seem as though it was like kind of like her over, I don't know, escalating the situation, or her like projecting her own emotions, or her just being dramatic. Can we stop calling black women dramatic? It's really insulting. Because if this was Kylie Jenner, if this was any other individual, not even someone of power, not even someone of influence or money, if this was someone who was just a lighter skinned person, or someone mixed heritage, or just Caucasian, this would not be the same situation. If it was literally a white woman, again, women in general are not believed. Again, put it in perspective with what I said earlier in the video about assault victims and the percentages of them that are actually believed, or the percentage of cases that are false and true. Women in general are already like at a disadvantage in society. No one believes what women say until even when there's hardcore proof. Women who are assaulted or are in cases of domestic violence almost have to disprove on top of the proof that they have. Is that clicking for anybody else? Is that clicking for people how psychotic that is, that women have to do that? And then like, so you just take the disadvantage of being a woman in a male-dominated society, not about like the physical numbers of women versus men in the gender aspect, but in socioeconomic aspects, in capital aspects. Men dominate every single aspect of economic benefits and economic careers compared to women in almost every single instance, baby. Even makeup, just letting you know in case you didn't know. But those, if you take it into perspective, and then you add the aspect that she's a person of color, then you add the aspect that she's a black woman, and then you add the aspect that she's a darker skinned black woman. So you have almost 4 disadvantages, or 4 aspects of her existence that make her disadvantaged. She's literally the bottom tier of people who are at disadvantage, who are disadvantaged in the United States in general, even with her power and influence. You would think that because she has such a huge following, and because she's an affluent person, and because she's gained a lot of traction with her music and just her career, and like she just has a charismatic aspect of her that brings together other female rappers and just brings together musicians and stuff. And her and Cardi B have the same work ethic. If you remember when Cardi B first started up, they had something similar. It was like they blew up. If you're a conspiracy theorist, you kind of have thoughts about those things, but like, let's look at it from the surface level. They blew up in the same hardworking way. And then if you ever remember that period of time where Cardi B would just collab with a lot of people, Megan Thee Stallion has had that same traction over this span. And this is literally what dark-skinned brown girls have wanted for years. I don't think there's been like an affluent black or prominent, like black or brown or dark-skinned girl. When I say black, I'm not talking about the aspect of just being a black girl in general. I'm talking about like darker skinned black girls, so maybe I should say that more often. But we haven't really seen like a deep brown or darker skinned black girl make it in the music industry. Like, yes, there would be like some musicians that make it here or there. Normani has been there for a while, but you know what I mean, she hasn't really gone mainstream as much as Megan Thee Stallion. And this is like what I feel like a lot of fans of pop music or rap have been waiting for the longest. So yeah, even that aspect of her being such an affluent individual, it didn't stop her from being attacked. It didn't stop her from being at a disadvantage. It didn't stop her from being devalued. It didn't stop her from being lied on. It didn't stop her from being pointed at and laughed at as a joke. And people saying, oh, everyone jokes about celebrity deaths, or everyone jokes about celebrity assault stories. Well, yeah, but you can't discount someone else's experience because you're taking an overgeneralized behavior of society that's desensitized to violence and applied to a situation when clearly it has to do with her skin color and her race. And I get it, Megan Thee Stallion's style of music, it offends a lot. I wanted to talk about this before, but men seem to be really angry with the song WAP, and people are just so pressed. They're just mad that the music in itself objectifies women. Yes, I get it that Megan and, let's talk about that side note, Megan and Cardi B they almost just play into the stereotype that men have already created for women in society. What is the point of women constantly being objectified and looked at as pieces of meat basically in almost every single rap or pop video if they can't participate in it themselves? Like, so you want men to be able to talk about women's body in the most defiling, judgmental, dehumanizing way, but women can't talk about anything about them. Women can't talk about empowering themselves. Y'all need to check your sources. It's not making sense. It's giving me hypocritical vibes. It's giving me misogyny. Okay? Stop that. Get some help. But anyway, yes, that internalized misogyny and just misogyny in general plays a huge role in why people reacted the way they reacted in Megan, and why people in general just didn't believe her. It's simply that. I just want to talk about misogyny a little bit because like it connects to a lot of things, like just I feel like women in general experience on a daily basis, and just like I feel like it also connects to my life. There's this ideology, well, if you don't, let's look at the clear-cut definition before I give my own opinionated definition of misogyny. Let's look. Define misogyny. I'm pretty sure I spelled it wrong. I'm not gonna screen record. I don't need you to judge me, okay? The Google dictionary definition of misogyny is dislike of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against women. It's clear cut. That's literally what a lot of men experience, especially in the music industry, especially in the rap sector of the music industry, where men literally dominated so much. It's almost taboo for women to just come in the space and talk about themselves. Not even men most of the time. It's almost taboo for women to talk about their own selves in similar ways that men talk about women already. What is the obsession? I would like to ask, what is the obsession? Why are men so obsessed with women? Do y'all want to be us? Because a lot of men seem to be obsessed with controlling what a woman wears, what she looks like. At this point, the only thing I can think of is men want to be women. I know it's a reach, but think about it. What? The obsession with what women can say, what women can wear, what women can do, how women can carry themselves, what women are allowed to talk about, what music they listen to. It's basically an obsession. All right, now back to the whole aspect of people not believing Megan. I feel like I keep grazing and then going off a tangent, but I just think it's very much petty. It's petty behavior, and I get the aspect of society and Gen Z and just our generation just, I guess, being desensitized to violence and then making fun constantly. But past that, like a lot of celebrities that were participating, like 50 Cent and that other woman from that one show that I don't remember. I only remember her when she's in a scandal. I don't know, she's like a light-skinned woman, and she went on a radio podcast talking about how she wanted someone to be in love with her so much that they shot her in the foot. Like, she didn't even know the aspects of the story or why they had the argument or what caused the foot, but like what caused Megan to be shot in the foot, but she assumed it was like a kind of heated love situation, which is like, again, internalized misogyny. The fact that women and men can only argue in the aspect of women being in love with men, or men being in love with women, or there being an obsession aspect with a man and a woman, and in so much that when they argue, it has to do with their emotional ties to each other in a romantic aspect. That also devalues women. I don't think people realize that, because the traditional ideas of romantic relationship between men and women put men in a superior pedestal and then women in a submissive way. It also goes back to this whole complex where like women obsessed with the idea of man, and men having that organ hanging between their legs, don't want to say directly, gives them some kind of superiority over women and gives them some kind of power over women, and women want to have that power. It's just, no, we don't want that. Anyway, yes, and I just don't understand the celebrities that were endorsing this type of behavior. Makes no sense. It goes back to Black women being the most unprotected, devalued, most like, I don't know, just disrespected aspects of society. And that includes Indigenous women too, because can we talk about the missing Indigenous women that no one seems to be talking about? Like, anyway, yes, it's a vicious cycle of like misogyny and then hatred. It goes back to like, I guess we could talk about like slave history and how just Black women in general were seen as objects and just bodies, toys to be experimented on with medical procedures. You can take it back to just lighter skin in a lot of cultures, not only American culture, being associated with superiority or purity or softness. This whole idea that a woman, a Black woman or a brown woman or a darker woman being strong is like over pushed in society. I've seen people even on TikTok say I'm channeling my inner Black woman. No, baby. And they go unchecked too. Some of y'all woke people need to get a little bit more woke. This whole idea that Black women are supposed to be strong and they lack versatility in behavior and mannerisms is just crazy. And anytime a Black woman expresses themselves or expresses herself, she's gaslit to believe, or she's gaslit and called angry Black women. Like, come on, she's not an angry Black woman. She's a woman, period, and she's expressing her feelings because society continues to put her down no matter what she does. When Black women are like quiet or standoffish, I mean, for probable reason, society calls them mean, judgmental, petty, like dark. They literally associate the skin color with like moody behavior. When a Black woman is expressive, or she talks or gives her opinion, oh my goodness, like everyone else in this world who exists has an opinion. When a Black woman gives her opinion on anything, really, she's immediately judged as loud or erratic or just too much. It's crazy. And then there's like, I understand that, again, Megan and Cardi did play into the whole like objectification of Black women in general, but again, if that stereotypes, okay, let me talk about stereotypes in society and stuff, and just fads or behaviors as far as social connections with people, especially with social media. When a behavior or an ideology is pushed out so much and for such a long time, it is very hard to debunk that behavior. Even, for example, me talking about Black women being just devalued in society, I can say that from the top of my lungs until someone with more power, someone who literally isn't me, until someone else, like let's say for example a Caucasian woman voices that same opinion, my voice probably won't be heard, and that is the sad aspect of it. Same with objectification of women in general and objectification of Black women. If you ever hear some other race describe Black women, like I've watched a lot of like when I was younger, I used to watch a lot of these like interviews in different countries, like what do you think about Black women, like in Korea or China or something like that, and they would always say sexy or like feisty or fierce. Same with like, you know, stereotypes of like a feisty Hispanic woman or like a submissive Asian woman. Like those stereotypes are overly perpetuated, and once they're out there, they're out there. It's very hard to debunk or like take it back, basically, because social standing is so difficult to break when everyone participates or when the majority of people participate in this behavior. So why not capitalize on it? My point is, I have no problem with Megan or Cardi making that song. It was very like, almost like, it's basically a little bit objectifying, but like, pick a struggle, because men already do that, and it's not even their body that they talk about in these music videos. Like, men already have perpetuated that ideology of black women as being some sex symbol. How are you gonna take it back? And if the industry is pushing that ideology to like a mass audience, what do you want women to do who want to make it in the industry? Like, it's like picking the lesser of two evils, basically, if you even want to call it that. And like, I know, like, even I've listened to like almost every single one of Megan Thee Stallion's older songs, and yeah, she's very like strong, and see, I'm using that word in a sense because that's how she actually perpetuates herself in her songs, in the sense that she takes ownership of her body, and then she does the exact same thing men have done for years and continue to do in music videos and rap videos, and she just basically talks about herself in the same aspects as men talk about themselves in social settings with like rap music and like money and just getting bread. I think she does the same thing, and I see nothing wrong with that. It's like one woman does it, and 500,000 men have been doing it for years and making money off of it. Why not? She's like one in a her, Cardi, they're like 0.0001% of individuals that don't fit the stereotypical man who continues to perpetuate this ideology of women or objectification. And men never objectify themselves. They don't. It's always them talking about a woman's or a female's body part. How about it? And they get offended that women do the same thing. Excuse me. But my point is, her talking about herself in that sense, I guess it does still evoke the sense of strong black woman, but you have to understand, if Cardi B, as Cardi B has multiple times objectified herself, and as the strong like person taking control whatever of a situation, or like I guess a sexual situation, if this was Cardi B like that got shot in her foot, immediately empathy would be the first thing you associated with that situation, no matter what happened. Cardi B, I think she has like a lot of international fans because she is like not only American, like she fits different ideologies of beauty standards, and just she's like the ethnic hot pot for American pop culture, because she fits a lot of she basically caters to a lot of different groups or subgroups. Now, like, if that happened to her, I feel like instant empathy, because one, she's not really associated with being black. I don't think she's like inherently black. She's like, isn't she like Creole or Pan? I don't know. I don't want to say something wrong. I'm speaking off the top of my head. No notes here. I'm just saying. So yeah, the fact that Cardi is like, she already fits the softer black girl, not like the soft black girl that we see in TV that's newly being perpetuated. I mean, she fits the softer ideology of light skin being associated with closer to white women, so therefore there's more empathy in store. We're already like garnered, we're already ready to give people who look like Cardi B more empathy than we are Megan Thee Stallion, because we have been taught, we have been brainwashed to think that black women don't have any other emotions than jealousy, anger, moodiness, and just resentment. And rightfully so, resentment is something black women should have for all the societal systems that have treated them poorly. I see nothing wrong with that. Resentment is right. We as a society need to come to terms with the fact that we have certain ideologies that are incredibly damaging to the exact same groups of people as it was like hundreds of years ago. We continue to perpetuate the same behaviors that we've claimed we've grown out of, or we claim that our woke culture has covered, until we move past it every time. I remember when colorism started to blow up and people started to talk about colorism and people were just moving with it, and how like darker skin became like a cute thing, and everyone started to get a little bit too tan or dark. But again, you can see how this affects black women, because dark skin was seen as beautiful on black men, but it was never seen as beautiful on black women. See, again, that thing happens where when we elevate the color of being darker or being black or being an African American or an African person, we elevate that standard first in men, and then black women are like the subculture. Like we worry about them later. We're always put on the back burner because that's how society is meant to think. And even when black women are addressed, it's for a fad, it's for popularity, it's for attention, it's to show that we can be empathetic, it's to show that we as a society, we care. For 5 seconds, we care for the fad, we care for the culture, and then when it doesn't benefit, a lot of these newscasts, influencers, when it doesn't fit the storyline anymore, which it doesn't, again, everything is full circle. Every couple of years, the same issues will be brought up. Like, we as a society convince ourselves that we're growing, but a lot of times we aren't. We just forget about something and then we bring it up a couple years ago, just like fashion. A lot of the stuff that went out of style in like 2005 is coming back, and we're like, oh, we're so creative. I've seen a lot of Gen Z say we're so creative with like fashion and stuff, but I distinctly remember these things being in style when I was like 5 or 6. So I'm just making that comparison so you can like understand where I'm coming from. A lot of these behaviors, like, we tend to repeat ourselves over and over again, and we convince ourselves that we're woke, and we keep leaving the same minority groups in the dark. We keep leaving the same people at the back burner. And it's like, when are we going to change? When are we going to address the actual issue? It's not the individual situations like Megan's. Megan's is a drastic indication of like domestic violence and just a like completely psychotic behavior. I've never heard of someone getting so pissed off at something you said or did that they pulled an assault weapon from a distance and then shot you. It's a bit that deserves psychiatric attention. I don't know why he's walking free. First of all, someone said he was in Canada. I haven't even notice how I haven't said his name multiple times. I don't want to give him light. Me and my 3 followers, we don't want to give him light. We don't want to talk about him. We don't want to talk about him. No, I don't want to talk about him. But yeah, like, I remember an incident with him, like, putting in like a fake little publicity stunt, like putting in like a darker skinned black woman. And I think I made a video about it before. When I get weird vibes from someone the first time, I just know not to trust them again. And that was like Tory Lanez with the whole like fake, I don't know, appreciation of dark skinned women. As soon as I got that weird vibe, I didn't even know who he was, to be honest. Can we talk about how we didn't know who he was until all of this stuff came out? Like, and now people are saying like his career is over, but honestly, with the way things work and how everything is full circle, give him a couple years or just give him a different platform and he will succeed. Even if he's a black man, he's a man. He literally will succeed. And the majority of people who own the industry and the niche of music that he's in, which is rap, will continue to give him opportunities because, again, society refuses to believe black women. That's it. Why? Comment down below anything you guys think in the comments down below. Whoa. English. Let me know if you guys want to see any other commentary videos. I feel like I'm going to post stuff like this every Sunday. Not every Sunday, but once in a while when something starts to push my buttons a little bit too much. But I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.